I'll be happy when I've finished my literature review. I'll be happy when this dissertation is done. Have you said anything like this recently? If so, you are not alone. I'll be happy when my house is tidy. I've said that a lot lately to my husband, who is not great at putting things away. He is absolutely awesome at getting things out and leaving them on surfaces. But putting them away? No, not so good at that. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to tell you why this I'll be happy when malarkey is stopping you from doing your best work on your dissertation and what you can do right now, today, to overcome that. Yes, this video is all about mindset because the way you think and feel about your dissertation and the way you talk to yourself about it is absolutely fundamental in shaping the quality of your work. If you're new to the channel, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Yardley and I have 20 years experience working as a social sciences academic in UK universities. In that time, I've taught sociology, criminology, social policy, and a few other social sciences along the way. I've supported thousands of students through their dissertations at undergrad, postgrad and PhD levels. And in that time, I've heard, I'll be happy when this damn dissertation is finished, a lot. And in this video, we're going to look at why that's not a particularly helpful mindset to be in and what you can do about it. We'll be covering the following things. Firstly, are you a gap or a gain kind of person? Secondly, how to get out of the gap. Thirdly, I'll share a top tip for living in the gain, and I'll end with a quick note for those of you who are all a bit skeptical about this mindset stuff. Because I know some of you are kind of rolling your eyes already. You are, aren't you? You cynics. So first up, are you a gap person or a gain person? I recently read a really good book called The Gap and the Gain. This one right here, link is in the description. It is so relevant for dissertation students. In a nutshell, this book argues that we need to measure success backwards rather than forwards. Now, what the hell does that mean? Let me explain. It means that if we're constantly looking to the future, to this thing we want to achieve but we haven't yet achieved, we tend to be living in deficit, focusing on what we haven't got, what we haven't finished, what we haven't accomplished. We are living in the gap between what we have and what we want. We'll be happy when we get there, but we're not there now. And that is clearly going to make us feel pretty crappy about our present situation, right? However, the alternative way of looking at things is living in the gain, focusing on what we have already accomplished and how much we've achieved in the last day, the last week, the last year. Take my YouTube channel, for example. If I was living in the gap, I might say something like, oh, my channel is so small, I only have a few hundred followers. I'll be happy when I've got 100,000 followers and that shiny play button that I can put in the background of all my videos. But until then, I'm just going to be bitter and miserable. My goodness, that is actually making me feel really shitty. So I'm going to stop that right now and I'm going to start living in the gain, where I might say something like this. This time just over a year ago, I didn't have a YouTube channel. I had all this knowledge and insight and I wasn't sharing it with anyone beyond the university where I work. Now I have a YouTube channel, I really enjoy putting videos up every week, and there are hundreds of people all over the world who've subscribed to my channel and they've told me how helpful they found my videos. I've got a really great understanding of how I can help people through my channel, and more people are discovering it every day. I am so excited about where it can go from here. Now, there. Even just giving the example of what I'd say, living in the gain, I feel way better. I feel accomplished. I can see how far I've come rather than focusing on what I haven't got. Think about what you've said about your dissertation recently. What was the last conversation you had with someone about it? And was it all gap or was it all gain? If I was to say to you right now, how's your dissertation going? How are you feeling about your dissertation? Would I get a gap answer or a gain answer? Okay, you know what? We're going to do that right now. I'm going to put a 5-second pause in this video and you're going to answer that question. So here goes. Are you ready? How are you feeling about your dissertation right now? Notice what you just thought or what you said out loud. Exactly what words did you use to describe how you feel about your dissertation? You can even write it in the comments if you want. Knock yourself out. If you said something gappy in response to that question, here's how you can turn that around today. If your answer was, I'm not as far ahead as I'd like to be. I wanted to have written 6,000 words by now, and I've written 3,000. I am really annoyed with myself. Here's how you can reframe that. You could say, this time a few months ago, I had 0 words written for my dissertation. Now I've written 3,000 words, so I've come a really long way. Yeah, there's still work I need to do, but I am on my way. I've got this thing off the ground. I've made progress. Let's look at another example. If your answer was, my literature review is shit, it's a total mess, my structure is all over the place. Instead, you might say, this time 3 months ago, I hadn't even started my literature review. I'd read literally nothing. Now, I've done a fair amount of reading and I've made some notes on what I've read. I've even started putting that into my literature review chapter, and right now I'm focused on tidying it up. And if your answer was, I have literally done nothing on my dissertation, that's not actually true, is it? So try this one instead. Well, today I invested some time in watching a YouTube video about dissertation mindset, and it made me realise how important it is to focus on what I have achieved so far. This time yesterday I was in a really negative place about it, but now I'm starting to feel better, and my dissertation, it'll be underway soon. See, simply by reframing how you look at things, you will start to feel better about your dissertation, and that is going to be massively helpful for you in pushing it forwards. One thing you can do from this point onwards is to set a reminder on your phone to go off maybe once a week or a couple of times a week if you like. And when that reminder goes off, you are going to stop what you're doing and identify 3 gains that you've made since the last time you checked in with yourself. It doesn't have to be anything huge, like I drafted my entire literature review. But if you did, definitely put that on there. Nice one. However, think about the smaller gains too. I found out what this particular word or term means. I learned how to reference a journal article properly. I had a meeting with my supervisor. I spoke to a professor I like about my ideas. I spent half an hour brainstorming about my methodology chapter. I commented on Liz's video. I got my notes organised so they're not in 12 different places now. If you make this a habit, you will start to shift your mindset about your dissertation. By focusing on what you're doing and celebrating the little victories, the baby steps that inch you forward, you will be so motivated by the successes that you've already had that you'll find the negative thinking, the gap thinking, it just starts to fall away. You'll get to a point where you'll try to remember the last negative thought or conversation you had about your dissertation, and you won't even be able to recall it because you don't do negativity anymore. You measure your success backwards. Oh, what's that? I hear the whispers of skepticism out there, and they're saying, well, okay, Liz, this is all very well and good. Think positive, live in the gain. Yep, doing that, great. But I am actually massively stuck on this one thing, and all the positivity in the world is not going to change the fact that I'm stuck. So what do I do about that then, little Miss Sunshine? Okay, here's what you do about that. You say to yourself, this is not the first time I've got stuck on something. I've been stuck before and I've got unstuck before. And you take action on that right now. You write out an email to your dissertation supervisor and you tell them that you're stuck on this thing and you'd really appreciate a few minutes of their time to talk it through. Whilst you're waiting for them to get back to you, you grab a piece of paper and you start describing what you're stuck on. Literally, just start writing. Write about what you're stuck on, how you got to the point that you're at, what you don't understand, what you do understand. The very act of writing these things down is going to help you tackle the problem because firstly, it gets it out of your head and it's not circling around in there becoming a huge thing. And secondly, as you're scribbling away, you may well find that the solution starts to emerge, or at least some ideas about it do. It's best if you do this with pen and paper rather than typing it out into an electronic document, because there's something about seeing those words on something tangible like a piece of paper or a page in your notebook, and it's not quite the same as just typing it up into a digital format. Seriously, give it a go. By the time you speak to your dissertation supervisor, you'll be able to have a constructive, upbeat conversation with them because you've already started to work through it on the paper. How you think about your dissertation affects what you do about it, and in turn, that impacts on you more generally. And there's a quote that I see pinging around the internet all of the time, which sums this up wonderfully. Some of you will have heard me say this before, multiple times. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Screenshot that little nugget of wisdom if that's going to help you stop the whole "I'll be happy when" nonsense. And that brings us nearly to the end of this video, in which we've covered what the gap and the gain are, how to get out of the gap if that's where you've been hanging out, and we've looked at a top tip for living in the gain. If you want to watch any of those sections again, scroll to the relevant chapter on the time bar below or click on the chapter link in the description. If you'd like more tips and advice like the stuff I've shared in this video, become a Degree Doctor Insider and sign up for my weekly emails. Here are some examples of the topics I've covered recently, so if they sound like the kind of messages you want to see in your inbox, the link to the sign up is in the description. And when you sign up now, you get these lovely freebies, which are going to be super helpful for all things dissertation mindset and staying organised. Also in the description, I've linked to a few books that I found immensely valuable in terms of all things mindset, so go and check those out too. And I will be back soon with more dissertation tips.